On a dusty, cluttered tailor shop, sunlight streams through a grimy window, illuminating floating dust motes. An old, round man named Alistair, with a magnificent white mustache that curls at the ends and glasses perched on his nose, hunches over a sewing machine. He looks very serious, his brow furrowed in concentration. He is trying to sew a button onto a tiny doll's dress, but his large fingers fumble. What if you could fix your worst day ever? Would you do it, even if it broke everything else? Alistair the tailor found a way. He just needed a needle and a very special thread. Alistair sighs, dropping the tiny button. It rolls under a dusty cabinet. He grumbles, getting on his hands and knees. His face squishes against the floor as he peeks underneath. He reaches his arm under the cabinet. His hand finds not the button, but a small wooden spool. He pulls it out. It glows with a soft, warm light. The thread is pure, shimmering gold. Alistair's eyes widen in disbelief, his mustache twitching with surprise. He looks around the empty shop, then back at the spool, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. Alistair found a golden spool of thread. This was no ordinary thread. It did not sew cloth, it sewed time. Alistair, a man who loved fixing things, had a brilliant, terrible idea. He remembered his saddest memory. It was the day his prized pet pigeon, Bartholomew, flew away. Bartholomew had a goofy, lopsided wing and cooed like a rusty door hinge. Alistair missed him dearly. Alistair threaded his needle with the golden string. He held up an old photo of himself as a young boy, crying as a blurry pigeon shape flew into the sky. He pricked the photo with a needle. The world dissolves. The dusty shop transforms into a bright, sunny park. Young Alistair, with chubby cheeks and comically large overalls, is sobbing loudly. A pigeon with one wing slightly lower than the other is taking off. Old Alistair, looking like a ghost made of light, stands nearby. He quickly sews the pigeon back to the boy's shoulder in the memory. The golden thread glimmers, then vanishes. The pigeon, Bartholomew, looks confused, flaps his lopsided wings, then settles on the boy's shoulder and coos. Young Alistair stops crying and giggles, petting the pigeon. Old Alistair smiles, satisfied. The scene dissolves back to the tailor shop. A dusty birdcage in the corner now holds a very old, very grumpy-looking pigeon with a lopsided wing. It glares at Alistair. The plan worked. Bartholomew was back. He was much older and grumpier, but he was back. Alistair felt powerful. What other sad memories could he fix? He remembered spilling grape juice on his grandma's perfect white rug. He found a picture of the purple stain. He stitched it right out. He remembered losing the school race because he tripped on his shoelace. He found the memory and sewed his shoe back on tight. With every stitch, his past became perfect. His shop filled with forgotten pets and returned toys. It was getting very crowded. Bartholomew was now forced to share his cage with a hamster named Sir Reginald, who was not happy about it. Alistair sits proudly in his chair, surrounded by his fixed past. The shop is a chaotic mess of old trophies he never won, happy-looking but confused pets, and a giant, perfectly white rug that covers the entire floor. Sir Reginald the hamster is trying to steal a seed from Bartholomew the pigeon, who pecks at him indignantly. Alistair doesn't notice. He is looking at a photo of himself and a childhood friend, Lily, at a birthday party. In the photo, they are arguing over the last piece of cake. Young Alistair is crying. Then Alistair found his worst memory. It was the day he fought with his best friend, Lily. They argued over cake. He had shouted. She had cried. They never spoke again. Alistair's smile faded. This was the big one. This was the mistake he wanted to fix most. He took out the golden thread. He would sew their fight into a hug. He would stitch away the angry words. He would make it a happy memory. Bartholomew cooed loudly, as if warning him. Alistair ignored the pigeon. He pricked the photo. A birthday party. Balloons are everywhere. Young Alistair and a girl with bright red pigtails, Lily, are yelling at each other over a slice of cake. Old Alistair appears, needle in hand. As he starts to sew, the edges of the world begin to fray. The balloons start to deflate slowly. The colors of the party fade to gray. The golden thread flickers and sputters. He tries to stitch young Alistair's angry face into a smile, but the thread makes a tearing sound. A crack of golden light appears in the sky of the memory. Something was wrong. The golden thread resisted. The memory started to tear. The happy birthday music turned into a sad, slow tune. The faces of the other children at the party began to fade away. Lily's face became blurry. Alistair panicked. He pulled the thread harder. The memory ripped open. He was back in his shop, but it was falling apart. The walls were disappearing like dissolving sugar. Bartholomew and Sir Reginald were fading into twinkles of light. The golden thread was unraveling, and it was taking the whole world with it. Alistair looks around in horror. Half the shop is gone, replaced by a swirling void of clock gears and stars. The magical items he brought back are vanishing. The white rug evaporates into dust. He looks at the photo of him and Lily. It is now blank. His face is pale with terror. He realizes what he has done. He looks at the last piece of golden thread on his needle. Alistair understood. You cannot just keep the happy moments. The sad moments, the clumsy moments, the angry moments, they matter too. They are all part of the story. The fight with Lily was sad, but it taught him to be a better friend. Spilling the juice taught him to be careful. Losing the race taught him to tie his shoes. He looked at the last bit of golden thread. He knew what he had to do. He did not sew a happy ending. He stitched the world back together, mistakes and all. The tear in time sealed shut. With one last careful stitch, Alistair sews the blank photo. A wave of warm light washes over everything. The shop rebuilds itself, dusty and cluttered just as it was. The magical items are gone. Bartholomew's cage is empty again. Alistair looks at the empty cage, a single tear rolling down his cheek. He then smiles a small, sad smile. He picks up the spool. The golden thread is all gone. It is just an ordinary wooden spool now. He places it on a shelf, a reminder of his lesson. He goes back to his sewing machine, picks up the doll's dress and the tiny button he dropped earlier, and begins to sew, humming a familiar Rusty Hinge tune. Thank you for coming along with us on this magical adventure. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Good night, little one.